Hello, welcome to Click Wars. We're back today. Slightly different episode on the cards today, Jamie, haven't we, man?
What's more interesting than us? So let's just do us.
Yeah, us two big-headed twats basically just going to be rocking the place down for the next hour. What we decided was essentially once a month that we would basically have a chat about what both of us have been up to, because I feel like we're working really hard, pushing a lot of boundaries in a lot of areas, and I feel like there'll be a lot of value in that for people. Sometimes when you get the interview, you only get that person's perspective, and you really don't hear from us otherwise, unless we're drilling down into a newsletter or trying to make you retweet our tweets. But that's kind of it. But yeah, Jay, what we got in store today then?
Quick updates of what, well, to be honest, like when we first started this, we wanted to do something different in the we enjoyed a lot of the content that was out there in the space, but we thought that we could do our own spin on it. And then we've gone and done like what everyone else was doing. We just like purely guessed things and stuff like that. And so as part of keeping everything fresh, and because I think that we're still in the trenches doing stuff, less like what's more like authentic than just people who are in the arena talking about what's going on in the arena. Like it's sometimes we have to ask questions to guests that are so related to what we want to know because of problems we're experiencing that we can miss the mark for other people. And vice versa, right? We might not ask the questions that they want to know. But now for us, we can just talk about what we're doing and what's working, what's not, and talk about those things that might not come up in conversations with guests, because like there are things not what the guests are doing. The guests are doing PR or whatever, whereas we're doing affiliate, or you're doing digital products and they're doing something else. So yeah, hopefully it's interesting.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to it, actually. So yeah, what have you been up to, mate? That's the first question.
Yeah, so I've been pretty frank about like some of our stuff got hit. And it's frustrating when you get hit. But to an extent, you've got to be like, okay, I've been picked up. Do I think my stuff is good enough to not get hit? Yes. But is there a 0% chance of me getting hit? No. And so like, how do you then go and do stuff that means that the chances of you getting hit are as close to zero as possible? AKA, how do you be so good that it's not even like in the debate of like maybe getting caught up in stuff or like whatever else? And so what we're doing basically is trying to improve on the content side, because I think we have been hit for content because we are a predominantly content site, and content sites are being classified, whereas others seem to be skipping the classifier. But as well as that, like I don't like the trend now is to go and do Facebook and newsletters and all that stuff, which I agree with. I'm not trying to hate on that. Like, fuck, man, I wish I could get all that traffic out of nowhere, man. Like, it's so I'm trying to balance the content recovery with going and doing other stuff. And we've had some early success with Reddit and Pinterest and stuff, and so we're scaling that. I hope to get. We're doing YouTube. We've got like one of our channels has like 500 subscribers now, and gets like a few thousand views a video because they're like decent quality videos now. But it's not like an income source like Reddit and Pinterest are already. So it's balancing that. But I want a future in the future. And we won't talk about the future just yet. We'll talk about the now. But we can talk about the now with you with regards to digital products. And I'm interested in grilling you about those. So give us an overview, and then I'm going to grill you.
All right, cool. Yeah, that sounds good. Digital products, man. I think everybody knows what they are, but just for the sake of it, you know, anything that's physical, ebooks, courses, all of that malarkey that you buy online, there's no physical product. So that's the real basic term out the way. But essentially, I noticed quite a big thing happen. Obviously, I think pretty much everyone did with HCU and all of the updates that we started to see last year. Basically, it felt like the rug had been pulled out of a lot of people's businesses. And whilst I am all about, you know, going after organic sources of traffic, it felt like the play was, I'm not saying this but I will say it in a terms. I said the play wasn't Google as strongly as it has been in the past. Google is still a play, but for me, I felt like it wasn't necessarily the be all and end all of what it was perhaps 12 months ago. Now, what that meant is for a marketeer like myself, you know, we've all heard of this for probably a couple of years. Short form's going to be the big thing. But actually what's happened is it's just continued on this exponential rise. And now the rise of, you know, TikTok and TikTok SEO and Instagram, and pushing traffic from Instagram into other areas, which we'll touch on in a lot more detail in a minute, no doubt, has become a lot more fruitful for me as a business, where I can drive real volume, and actually sustainable real volume, by creating high quality content and consistently putting out high quality content every single day, and automating the responses to essentially guide them off platform. Now, I do that in a number of different ways, which we can touch on, but essentially Instagram and TikTok right now for me is the major play. And I'm still putting time into SEO. I'm still writing blog articles. I'm still updating content. I'm still doing link building. I'm still doing all of the things that you would normally do as an SEO, but I'm seizing the opportunity which we have right now, which is organic social media. And how I'm doing that perhaps is slightly different to what you would see on niche like Twitter, which is Pinterest and Facebook page likes and pushing out content that way. I think, yes, that has its place, absolutely. But right now, if you want attention and you want it quickly, you can get it in an absolute exponential volume in TikTok and Instagram. But there is a play to it.
Yeah, and so what you've done is you've basically had a few big bangers and some consistent growth over time. So I had a look at your Instagram. So I know that before you told me the strategy was you felt that having a certain amount of followers on Instagram opened doors for direct sponsorships, would have been another revenue source for your niche in particular, where people with budgets want to get in front of people and they go, oh, this influencer's got X thousand followers, so I'll put budget behind them. We'll see what the ROI is for the sponsorships, which can be very lucrative in that niche. And so I know that you were sort of combining some ad buying stuff with the organic stuff. It looks like now, from just a quick peruse, I don't know if you're still doing paid, but that you've gone and changed the strategy on Instagram to be much more like reels focused, to then go outside of like existing followers and then just like try and get bangers that blow up to then get the followers. And it's working. I think before, like at the end of the year, you had like 4K, and now you got 17K.
19 as of today. Is nuts. The growth is absolutely exponential. We're doing like 1,000 followers a day in the last like 5 days, which is just crazy. But it's basically a compounding effect. Yes, absolutely. So they're all from, if you just scroll down like my notifications, it will say following you from your reel. Now that's like 99.9% of the people are following us from reel. So basically you're creating content which grows. So it will show when you look at the ones that actually blow up. So I'm talking blow up for me is, you know, over 50,000 views. If you look at the ratio of followers to non-followers, can be like 95+% of non-followers that are seeing that post. So you're hitting a high volume of people outside of your follower base. Obviously you want them to engage. So that's where the content comes in, and how they interact with that content changes by the certain post type that you're putting together. So we had one which has just hit 1.1 million views. Yesterday it was on 1 million views. Now it's on 1.1 million. It just keeps growing daily, you know, going up. It's almost, I don't know where its peak is at the moment. So it's growing, but that post has brought in 8,000 followers from 1.1 million views. So, you know, the rest of the growth has come from the other bangers that we've had that have gone above 50K, where you might get a couple hundred followers off them. So we've had a lot of success in the last month. But
as we've seen with like some of them, just to roll back to that, like for example, I was buying page likes, and you can get the likes and it would look like you got these followers, but then I couldn't get them to engage with my posts. Once you move them over from reels, how difficult is it to get them to engage with like general content after that for future content you post? So they're not just a number, but they were like actively engaged in that.
Right. Yeah. So let's talk about the engagement strategy because that's a massive part of it. So, for example, I will always say how I break down. Let's break down the content. So let's say we're making a video. So a visual hook and an audio and a text-based hook on screen. So something that's highly eye-catching, i.e., I film it in my dining room. Some of the content. So I've got a really nice table. The missus always has flowers on the table. We've got a really nice shelf with books, and there's like hanging plants in the background. There's a mirror and a nice lamp. It looks nice, right? So visual hook. The hook is I sit down and I light a candle. So that's grabs your eye immediately. But whilst you're also doing that, there's also a highly engaging how I would budget a 30K salary on screen in really nice font. And that grabs your attention plus that. So you've got their attention. So, oh yeah, I want to tell them, I want to understand about this topic. Obviously, then you can then feed in the topic. It's got to be fast paced, engaging. You know, I cut things like breaths out. There's barely any space in between my words. I voice over the content. All I'm literally doing is sitting there on my laptop. I light a candle over my laptop and I sit there. But I'm talking over the video, and then I put captions and breakdowns of the budget on top of the video. But at the end and in the content, I will tell them to do something. So it's comment the word grow, and I'll send you some information about how you can up your budgeting game, for example. Or comment the word go, and I'll send you a link to our ultimate financial planner. And then we use a software called ManyChat. Now, ManyChat, you can essentially basically tag onto a reel, a piece of content, or any of your posts with a word. So it will automatically recognize keywords, and then it will automatically DM that person and reply to the comment, which you can set up like different variations of comments. And then you can say, hey, John. It also is like at first name. So it will find their first name. So, hey, John, thanks for commenting on my post about budgets. Here's a link to my ultimate financial planner. Just so you know, today here's a code of 30% off. Here's the code. Use the code GAINS at checkout. And then they go on there. They see it's like £17. They get the 30% off. There's a highly engaging sales page. We use Stan Store, which is super cheap and super high quality for mobile, especially. And they can pay there and then get the products directly to their email. So they haven't actually left the Instagram app. That's a key thing as well. So you can still press the X in the corner at any point and go back to the post. So it's really, really key. And essentially that is, so imagine 1 million people see that and 1,500 people comment. It's an enormous amount of volume that you're potentially pushing to that sales page. Now, obviously, your sales copy has to be good, your imagery has to be good, and obviously the pricing needs to be right for them to buy, and the right environment, and they need to feel like you need to have done a good job in the video. So all of that needs to work together for you to get results here. By the way, this is not easy. And I'm still tweaking and working out formulas and type of text and countdowns and what works, what doesn't, what sales tech works, what's too heavy, what's not. We're still refining everything and testing everything, but it is working really, really well. So a reel that does sort of 100K views will bring in about £300 on average. That's what I worked out before this call.
Okay, so skipped a few steps. We've gone straight from reels to sales and funnels. So let's take it back for a bit, because let's make sure that we go and we figure out how to crack the code so we can all make all this money from the same stuff, right? So you put the reel out there, and you use an automation software called ManyChat to then turn from prompting from a call to action in the reel designed to take high level people, top of funnel, to then send an introductory thing that then gives them a direct checkout link to this product. So I presume to be able to get them to do that, because it's still high in funnel kind of is that you haven't engaged them over time, that is a lower value introductory product.
Exactly, low ticket. Yeah, I'm not going to be selling them a £599 course straight out of the gate on a reel. No chance.
So how much is it, and what do they get?
So, for example, we have 3 main products that we push in this realm. 4 main strategies. So one is an email strategy alongside an ebook. So it'd be like post about investing. If you want to learn more about investing in the S&P 500, comment S&P and we'll send you some information. It's like, hey, John, first up, jump onto our mailing list. Got 25,000 people. You get enrolled into a free mini course, growing your investments to 100K. Here's a subscribe link. Secondly, if you want to speed things up, download our free investing for our investing for beginners ebook. Is £9 today with this special link, for example, right? So it's £9. Like, it's not crazy, but most people will get onto the mailing list. So our mailing list is just actively growing from that point. And then secondly, they may or may not buy the investing for a beginner's ebook. But essentially, once you've got them on the mailing list, you can then funnel them back into these type of products. That's one product. Second product is the planner. So any budgeting related videos or planning or debt related videos, we can push them into the ultimate financial planner. It's 360 budgeting and debt planning. Essentially, everything's on there: financial freedom calculators, investment calculators, all of that jazz. It's kind of everything you need to manage your finances. And then the big one is the digital products course. So funny enough, we're talking about digital products. I've actually put all of this, how to do this from start to finish. It's a 21 module, 21 day course showing you how to go from 0 to 5K. So it's called a couch to 5 grand. And we show you how to go from 0 to 5K in revenue in 100 days selling digital products on Instagram. Now, that's the big one, because we can do how I made 4 grand in the last 30 days. And these are really short, sharp reels. So some of the reels are 1 minute long, some of them are 7 seconds long. So it's like how I made £4,000 in the last 30 days. Read the caption. And then in the caption, you provide a load of value, and then it's comment digital to get our digital product link course, for example. And then they get the automated message from there. So that's how we push the course through those types of sales. So low ticket course. Again, we can build out on these types of products. So we can build an investing course, 47, 57 pounds. So could probably go up to 100 quid with these sort of things. But, there's a fine line between, say, a non-follower doesn't know you to commenting to coming to buy. You need to do a really fucking good job of the funnel. So it is hard, but hopefully they follow you, and then the next time you do the post, they interact with that as well, and then they actually buy. Or you might do a sale on the course, etc., on the stories, for example, and push more digital product volume that way.
So 1 million views is 1,500-ish comments, so just under 1 in 600. Of those 600 comments, how many go and check out?
So the click-through rate on ManyChat is nuts, because you're directly messaging that person with an open link. So you're looking at 90% CTR on once you've got an Instagram message going in there that they've seen. And obviously, be clever with it. Make sure that they want to click the button. Your copy within that is everything. So yeah, we're testing a lot of that.
So how much was 1 million views worth to you just starting out? Like, well, you don't have to say, but I'm just like,
so
it depends. Just like on the niche, it'll be different. So I'm not trying to tell anyone listening, like, oh, you can get this equals this. It's really so dependent and will vary so much. And you've worked out the funnel quite a bit. Or someone might be able to sell something insanely more, like whatever, you know what I mean? But what's 1 million views? I mean, it'll go up as well as you become more established and you have higher ticket products to build on. But
exactly.
what's it worth now as you build the funnel and get people into the beginning level introductory sales thing? What's 1 million views worth to start with?
It's really difficult to quantify, because that was our first 1 million views video. So you're totally right. You've not built up trust or levels within that space. When they go on your profile and you have 8,000 versus 50,000 followers, immediately the trust signals are very different. So it's very difficult to quantify how much value that's brought in. But that one video alone did £700. So I'm pretty happy with that as a result. I didn't expect it to go to 1 million views. If anything, I was really kind of aiming for 150K. So when it blew, and it's been really sustained. So that post went out on the 22nd of January. It's now the 8th of Feb, and yesterday it did 100,000 views. So it just goes to show, like,
so they don't just like stay up for a day like it's like a Snapchat story. They can keep like being out there in the ether getting views.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting, man. And obviously, what I teach in the course is essentially how to create sort of the 7 to 9 second reel framework. So it's hook based, extremely emotional hook based, into reader caption, visual based hook as well. So like B-roll based hook. So it might be you sitting down somewhere nice, or you walking on a beach, for example. Something is visually impactful, really nice font. And then in the caption is where you provide all the value. So we teach you how to come up with ideas that are based on something you actually enjoy, so you can provide a lot of value in that space. So there's a big ideation process behind this, and testing the products as well. You've got to test the content, test the products. If you come out the gate of this swinging, making money from day one, I'd be enormously surprised. So that's what you got to do. You got to test and grow and iterate with this type of stuff.
And it doesn't matter too much for me. I like the idea of having loads of followers. I think it would make me get more replies to my DMs when I'm trying to jump in the DMs and all that, even if they don't engage with my posts, right? But what people want to know is, once they follow you, how many of them then don't pay attention to any of your content? So it's like a one and done deal. So you have to do the deal in the DMs from any chat after, versus how many of them become fans and keep engaging, and you keep them in there and can build them up. So if they didn't buy this time, they might buy in the future. How many of them go to like your future content after they join from that one-off reel?
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't have enough data to be able to tell you that. We're on a massive growth trajectory at the moment, so that'll be something that I'll definitely report back next month and see how we've got on. Because right now the data is extremely skewed because of where we were at the beginning of January to where we are now. Like, our non-follower to follower engagement rates, our non-followers is like 13,000%, but our actual follower ratio is like a few 100%, because it's not the same. Do you see what I mean? So that will start to stretch out over time. But if we can continue on this growth trajectory, it's always going to be quite skewed, that data.
Nice. And so, having seen the early success on Instagram, I think you've been doing all right on TikTok. Another question will be, like, do you just post the same stuff on Insta and TikTok, or is there differences for the meta? But now you've seen success with short form. Has that changed what you're doing in Q1 and Q2, and what you're gonna try and build on from there, and what you're like, you don't do this with a banner, you're trying to get rich as fuck. So, like, how does this change, like, how you get rich as fuck? Like, does it accelerate things? Does it change how are you thinking for the way that the adventure is going to go now? You've seen this, like, unexpected huge spike overnight, and now it's giving you ideas for what can be, I'm sure.
Yeah, just continuing, what will happen is like, those reels will have a base level. So when you've got 100,000 followers versus 10,000 followers, it's quite a big difference to how many people that reel will get shown to, whether it's good, bad, rubbish, it doesn't matter. So, automatically I will not probably get 20 to 30k views on a really bad video if I had 100,000 followers, right? But if I had 10,000 followers, I might get 3 or 4. So in those 30,000 followers, I'm still going to hit people and do well. So it's about growth. So, but then 100,000 followers makes it a lot easier for me to go viral, because I can pick up a lot more organic views really, really quickly. So that's on Instagram. On TikTok is extremely different. So TikTok actually brings in, I looked on this before, it's about 4.7% of the entire month's worth of revenue. So that's really, really low. Now on TikTok, some of the videos will get way, way more views than they will on Instagram. Although when Instagram goes way harder than TikTok. But people on Instagram so you can't do this comment strategy on TikTok as well as you can on Instagram. People are way more active in the comments and way more willing to go off platform than they are on TikTok, which is very on platform. But interestingly, I was listening to Carrie Rose on her podcast that she put out this week, and TikTok SEO is now massive. So they're putting a lot of SEO functionality into TikTok at the moment. So there's a lot of analytics going in. What keywords are you ranking for? How much traffic are you coming in from? So interestingly, one of the tactics which she's using with some of the high level brands, which I'm really excited to test out, having listened to this, is essentially telling them to do a Google prompt after that, which can be brand related search. So for example, I might say, comment budgeting planner up the gains into Google. Then you can track the amount of search-based content which comes off the back of that at the end of the content. So it might make the video comment at the end, comment budgeting planner up the gains on Google. Search up the gains to budgeting planner on Google. and you can then track how much search is coming off to that. And obviously you want to make sure you're ranking number one for that search term, but then you're getting that traffic and also getting branded traffic too. So it's going to help your site grow. So as my exponential views, hopefully on TikTok, keep going up, I'm going to start pushing that traffic into website. And she's seeing a lot of success with sort of fashion and beauty, but I don't see why not. You could be doing this in many different niches. Travel, it doesn't necessarily matter.
So it's not as naturally intuitive, and I guess not as high converting as Instagram then, because you've got to go through more hoops. There's not a direct way of just DMing everyone.
No, but as I say, like TikTok, the views, average views per video are a lot higher, so you get a lot more reach. Sorry,
what kind of views are you getting?
So we're talking like hundreds of thousands of views per video, whereas Instagram might be say 50, 60 on the same video.
Right.
So that's why I'm seeing a big difference in terms of that, whether how much they engage. But it's very odd. Like a video that on Instagram did 150,000 views, on TikTok it did 5,000. Then the next one the other way round, and then the next one 500,000 on TikTok, but only 40,000 on Instagram. But generally, they sing together. If the content bangs on one, it will bang on the other, but sometimes it's a bit skewed.
How long does it take you to edit one of these? Like, what's your like views per minute on, like, if you can get 100K in an hour's work, like, or like how long does it take? And are they easy to delegate? Everyone's thinking like, I like Pinterest because I can just fucking delegate it to a VA with an SOP so that they can do the captions and they can source the images from my articles or from Instagram or anywhere else. And it's really easy to scale. This is much more hands-on. You've put your face in it, which is why most people don't want to do it, because they actually have to do the thing. But it could be delegated, right? Can other people delegate this? Are you looking to delegate this? How do you, or can you not delegate like authentic creativity? Like, what is this? How do you scale this without doing any work?
Without doing any work. Yeah, man. Look, right now I've just kind of feel like I've hit the formula. And I'm no doubt the goalposts will shift, but absolutely. Look, for me, I want to be doubling content output. I'm putting one reel out a day at the moment. I want to be at 14 a week.
And you're editing that yourself as of now?
Yeah, absolutely.
And how long does that take?
Varies per video, but you can be talking 60 to 90 minutes for a more in-depth video. The one that's just gone out, which is 7 seconds, was around about 40 minutes. And that's just because, especially in finance, it's very different if you're in a different type of niche. And obviously I've got all my fonts and my frameworks and things now all done. So I know that I'm going to be utilizing certain fonts and things like that. So it's very easy to copy and paste over from different projects and just changing the text essentially. But it's a lot of learning, you know, like this style of new content. I'm not really doing a lot of piece to camera. Like, hey, I'm Sammie and this is my top finance tips today. I'm not really doing a lot of that anymore. A lot of it's like voiceover style content or text on screen and me pulling funny faces, taking the piss out of financial gurus for, you know, telling people not to have coffee. You know, these types of things, these types of content is doing really, really, really well. So it's I've had to learn this over 18 months of trying to make Instagram work and just failing miserably, and then slowly finding and hitting the jackpot essentially. So, you know, it's taken a long time, but now that's why I put it in the course, because I'm like, this is it. This is the formula. It's been working since December. So yeah.
For the future now, how has this changed how you're going to build the brand? Are you still doing long form on YouTube? Because I know you're doing that. Or like how do you turn this and the clout and the brand and audience you're building into the machine that you want it to now? And does that look different now than you previously thought it would, having seen success in this particular avenue?
Yeah, so for me, it's about getting time down spent on content as low as I possibly can to 60 minutes or less a day. I don't really want to be spending any more than that. Ideally, once we've grown enough revenue, we can bring on some video editors to help push and create the style of content based on frameworks and SOPs that we create. You know, they can follow a style quite easily. This is what I want it to look like. And, you know, I just have final sign off and back and forth with an editor. It would be a much easier process. But I basically am now setting out my day's very different. So I spend 2 hours in the morning on SEO based tasks. Then around about lunchtime, I will start editing for the video of that day. I'm ideally trying to get a couple of days in advance. So I've done, for example, today I did Saturday's video, but I'll spend 12 till 2 maybe doing that video. And then I can then pick up other tasks around that. So I will feed in long form content. I will feed in script writing for YouTube. All of the other things will fit in around those two things. They're the non-negotiable things that I have to do every single day. So I have to work 2 hours on the website, whether that's writing an article or updating content, or 2 hours on short form content. They're my non-negotiables right now as I try and, grow both of those channels. And then I've just fed YouTube back in. So we put our first video out, which was, how I made £3,500 in 30 days in digital products. That was our first video yesterday, and we're now going every 5 days from there.
How good is the funnel from existing Instagram follower to YouTube subscriber when you put a new video on the reel and send them?
It's really interesting so I tested this yesterday, and with 18,000 followers, I probably had like 250 clicks onto the YouTube video out the gate, but the viewer time is super low. So they're going from a short form flicking fingers up type platform onto a YouTube format, like wide angle, not needing to turn the phone. That can throw people off, and you get a lot of bounce. So what we had was like 2 minutes 40 of a 10-minute video average view time. And then when we sent the email out from the newsletter, i.e. they know that they're going to watch a YouTube video because you've told them it's a YouTube video. Although you do tell them on Instagram, they're not like actively in short form content mode. They're on email. So it's very different. And those viewers are 4 minutes 30. So it's wild when you see the difference trying to taking someone from a short form format into a long form format. But yeah, trying to get the funnel down from YouTube. We have boilerplates which we send people to, and we will mention in video, check out X, Y, and Z. There's a link below, and we'll do that at strategic points throughout the video to try and not lose the viewer.
Is Instagram good at pushing your stuff to the right people? Because you're not just any old finance, you're British finance, like UK pounds, and there's only pounds in Britain as far as I know. Are they going out to British people that would need British UK financial information, or is it just going worldwide and they're not targeting to people that would like find that useful for them? Because it doesn't apply to Canada, right?
No, you don't really get cross. I haven't seen anyone from Europe. They're very good at selecting. They know it's from UK. And I feel like the hashtags might tell them that initially out the gate, UK budgeting tips as the hashtags. So, that you are kind of steering them in that framework, and then they can quite easily geotag and lock that video into that framework, I would imagine.
So you got sent out to 1 million UK people.
Yeah, it's all UK. It's all UK. If you look at our followers that have come in, they're all inner city UK, quite heavy, skewed to London, 14%, 61% male.
So yeah. You've been sent out to 1 million UK people. There's only about 60 million odd people in the UK, of which, let's say, half of them have Instagram. So 1 in 30 people on Instagram have seen your reel.
Mate,
so if you go outside in London, there's like a chance that you'll get stopped in the street now.
I've been stopped 3-4 times already in the last week. So I went in the hairdresser's. He started laughing at me. He was like, I was having a shit and your face popped up. And I was like, fucking hell. But what happened was we started having a chat, and now he's booked 2 hours worth of growth calls. So that's 10 free haircuts for me that's a year's worth of free haircuts, man. I mean, you can get my haircut every couple of weeks. I'm going to look sick every fucking 2 weeks now.
Right, I'm wearing a fucking hat.
So yeah, man, it does pay dividends. And then I've had friends of the family come out of the woodwork, messaging me oh my God, we saw your content, it's unbelievable, and I'm just yeah, cool, nice to speak to you. I haven't spoken to you in 14 years. What the fuck? Who are you? But mate, I was in Waitrose, and there's some little girl was he's the finance guy. I was like, oh shit. changing my life.
It's 1 million people is more than legacy TV gets on most of their shows.
It's nuts, dude. Like, that's what I mean. So when I was speaking to a friend of mine who's an Instagram coach, he's amazing. And he's just given me a few pointers along the way, which have been super helpful. But I was talking to him and he was like, I was saying to him before all of this happened, and this was like start of December, I was like, mate, getting 1 million views would be mad. He was like, mate, if you get 1 million views for you, that's nuts because you're so UK centric. And he was like, if you go to that point, then he was like, that's when you know that video has done a seriously good job. And I'm not bigging my head up, but when you actually think about it, it is really true. It's a lot easier in America with 380 million people and 400 million people.
Yeah.
To get to those levels. And that's why he was like, especially in finance as well, when they censor the content quite a lot. So yeah, I'm massively grateful and yeah, really excited for the next few months.
If we're gonna be like realistic, there's not much bigger reach because number one, not everyone's interested in the UK personal finance space, so they're just not going to get shown that if Instagram does its job because they don't want to show content that doesn't engage. I don't think you can go much bigger than that. So I feel like you've already hit the ultimate. You've just got to keep doing that, and you'll be the biggest in the game. Also, if we're going to be realistic, like if you've gone out to that many people in the UK, it's not just like random people all over the world of which like you could absorb 1 million without being that famous. In the UK, you can't do that. Like, there's a very high chance that someone at BBC, ITV, Channel 4, the radio, or whatever has seen this. Multiple people, most likely. You'd have to assume, and I don't know if you've already had been contacted, but you're going to get asked to go on like Good Morning Britain for the fucking finance advice thing at some point. If all the staff have seen they must have people looking for like finance people to talk to about certain things. And if you're the first person that's salient and comes to mind, this must lead to real life TV stuff or whatever. And like, if we're going to go back to like traditional SEO, like what better EAT than being asked to go on Good Morning Britain and talk about the latest changes of finance or whatever.
Yeah, taking it off platform. Well, I've had 2 publishers reach out about a book in the last 30 days. Like, I'm like, no, not yet, because it will just take my focus. So like, I want to be making, 100K months before I start thinking about books. But obviously, books from a marketing touch point is probably the holy grail. If you can get a book in someone's house, you've done a good job. That's a person for life. They will always remember you. So that's a step for us. But yeah, man, like now I just want to start railing in, the speaking gigs. The public speaking is a massive part of it because you're actively an influencer within that space, a financial influencer within that space once you've got really 10,000 or more followers. So if I can get that up to sort of 40, 50 when I start, all those finance related type of events and get invites for those, and they pay well, those banks. So yeah.
If you've got 100K, you can host them yourself.
Well, this is it. I really love this lady. You should check her out. She's called Fuck Being Humble. Her name's Steph, and she's awesome. She just put out a book, and she's a big proponent of building your own stages from whatever level you're at. So if you can't get in the door with whatever you're trying to do, no matter what this is, by the way, this just transcends Instagram. If you want to be a public speaker, build your own event. If you want to be a motivational coach, build your own motivational event, which people can come to. So you got to build your platforms. And I'm really, I'm thinking of whether or not to do something like, a London-based sort of FinCon style event. There's never been anything really like that done in the UK to a high level. And with my marketing and events background, that's like seems to be absolutely perfect because I can sort of just lean in on my 10 years worth of experience and then bring the finance game to it. So I'm really thinking about that for 2025.
I was at FinCon. I know how to copy it now. I was there.
I'm interested to ask them whether or not they would whether it's trademarked in the UK or whether it's not, because FinCon's
Sammie Con. UTG Con.
Yeah. It's an interesting one because you'd want to get all the banks involved, get a NatWest as the headline sponsor or whatever, and just kind of roll out from there and make it really valuable. Like all the big boys come in and hopefully get, you know, the Martin Lewis's, etc. on stage and stuff like that. So it sells a lot of tickets. And that way you meet people, and then I can do like the keynote speech, for example, and you set the stage up for yourself. So that's a big thinking for me, is like taking the Instagram growth and cementing that with people off platform, whether that's events or mailing lists, or where can we podcasting. The podcast growth this month is nuts. It's like tripled in listenership. So it does work.
Yeah. The people may listen to this and say, you had a good thing going, the AHF graph was magical, why the fuck are you looking elsewhere? But really, this is the extended form of building organic traffic, because without a strong, sturdy base now, any content site is looking fragile. But, and I spoke about this when I opened the podcast, I got hit and I think my content was good. How do I make it so there's a 0% chance that there's even the possibility of a mistaken identity? You thought I was a bad news? That's not me. Surely not me. And how do you reduce that to 0? And what you're doing is reducing that chance to 0, because when people think of UK personal finance, they associate that with Sammie and Up the Gains. And they want to see that. The CTR in the SERP is crazy. The brand search is crazy. People type in personal finance, Sammie LRK, Up the Gains. And so I don't even think that you've pivoted away. I mean, you talk about doing 2 hours SEO. Another side productivity thing, I would question why you're not batching all the same stuff in Go, because I think there's inertia mentally with that, like with switching tasks. But productivity coaching aside, I think that it's not pivoting away. If you build a really strong brand that brings in people organically, makes you money from the funnel, that keeps them back into the site, and it's way better to have 1,000 engaged people that come to your site every month than 15,000 faceless ones. And that will help you get your next 15,000 faceless ones from organic anyway. And so I think loads of people think, how do I get this organic back? Rather than like, how do I build such a powerful brand that one, organic isn't the be all and end all, but that the organic does itself. And you have positioned yourself well to do that, and it's not easy. It will look like it's a shit ROI for a long time, and to be fair, if you weren't selling anything, it probably still would be, because you're having to sell them a product via the ManyChat automation there still, because it's not like the RPMs are going crazy in Instagram ads or whatever it may be, like YouTube. You know, even with YouTube, you'd have to drive like so much views. It's you have to find a way to convert those views, right? Because the RPMs aren't good like they are on blogs, which is why everyone wants to write a blog. But if you can figure out the funnel, you can make it profitable to do that, and then those people are what pays for your massive growth down the line. I think I've gone off topic.
It just makes it like a multi-channel play for the brands to get involved with. You know, we've got X amount of following on Instagram and TikTok, which, let's be honest, to the average individual, once they see that, they go, "Oh, fucking hell, he's serious." And so that's kind of a box ticking exercise there, and obviously bringing a lot of that traffic off platform into website, where you've got organic traffic of 70, 80K a month, and then you've got a YouTube channel which has 10,000 subscribers. You've got a podcast which is doing 10,000 downloads a month. You walk into that brand and send out that media pack, they go, "Fuck me!" Like, this is then you can start talking to your larger big banks, like, "Oh, you're dropping your new product this month, your new mortgage rate or whatever. Let me promote it entirely across your entire, spectrum of opportunities here," or cherry pick the ones which they feel like are going to work for them based on the demographics within them. So it just makes you extremely attractive from a multi-brand, from a multi brand sponsorship play.
Yeah, we've I'm sure if we looked for another hour, we could find some changes that would make to some of the affiliate content that, if we were ranking number 1, would be super valuable. But Google isn't only looking at content quality at the moment. In fact, I'd say it's not one of the priorities right now. It's much more risk-averse, link-based authority thing than this content is better, therefore no matter the authority, it beats it. And so it was, I mean, we'll revisit this and make sure that we're optimized for 2024 and beyond, but it was an uphill battle because you were up against historic players that had been in the game for longer, or they were just huge companies that had real products like SaaS apps and whatever else from there.
And
so
new competitors, man.
Yeah, 100%. And we can and we should and we will continue to improve content and CRO and make sure that is itself a good money earning thing. But what you've also managed to do is make it so that you are competitive with those bigger brands because you're building the brand itself. Like you can spend all the time in the world, and I come from a content background, so like it's easy for me to like take the other side and go, yeah, but the content isn't like they just take advantage of the fact that they're a manufacturer, whatever I've been whining about. But you understand the game and you're playing the game and you understand that like it's not like you can make we can and we will make the content as good as possible. But everyone at the moment is improving content to try and recover from HCU hits. And there's more than one way to recover. You can also just be a big brand. And they won't make up for bad quality content, but your content's good. It's just not getting as much airtime as it should because you aren't a huge authority site. And there's more than one way to skin a cat with this stuff.
Yeah, 100%, dude. You absolutely hit the nail on the head. I'm really excited about the TikTok stuff. So the TikTok is literally, I feel like it's like a growth play, which is just unrivaled right now. The other side of that is we can improve the product selling side of it. Is once you've built up enough of a following, the live element of TikTok right now is insane. So I'm thinking about basically like starting almost like a morning show essentially on TikTok. So a real life morning show with a set which you set up and you teach a personal finance topic. There's a couple of guys in the US which are doing this and extremely amazing results, and you can funnel them off into courses, into more high ticket items, i.e. one-on-one coaching for me, which is enormous. So there's a big play there. And obviously just being the person that person thinks of when it comes to personal finance. They're always going to think of Martin Lewis, but Martin Lewis doesn't cover side hustles really and doesn't cover investing, two massive topics which people want to talk about. And there's not really, other than perhaps maybe Damien Talks Money, who's solely a YouTuber, there's not really a multi-channel player in that space. So yeah, that's why I'm going for it.
Nice. I don't have any other questions on that. Let's bring it over to the stuff that I'm on, because I guess it matches a more traditional. Like some people will think like, great, yeah, but my site, I need to improve it. What do I do and whatever else? So let's pivot. For me, there's a 6-pronged approach for maximizing traffic. Unfortunately, even though we are hit pretty badly in Google, we're not as hit as badly relatively as most sites because we have so much traffic from other search engines, mainly Bing. One of our sites does 3,000 a day from Bing still. And so given that like Bing has been historically less volatile, that is safer traffic than Google traffic right now, which is a nice thing. So number one, if you get Google traffic and no Bing traffic, you're probably not as on-page optimized and like it's much more relevant scored based and less you can get away with more like exact match domains and shit. It's like the same as you can get away with in like non-English Google, you can get away with on Bing more and less like EAT and stuff and more like Google from a few years ago. But that's not the game is not to become a Bing SEO. The goal is to recover in Google's eyes. I was doing a lot of audits over the last couple of days. I sent out a tweet saying I'll do a free audit because we're working something out for a process at Lasso, and so I wanted to find out some of the common things that would be in like a checklist for a quick auditing thing, because I haven't ever really done. I've never offered a service, and I probably never will. I'm not interested in like selling hours of my time to people. Sorry, I say no to every client that wants to consult. I'm just not interested. I don't care about being an SEO agency or a consultant. Unless you pay me lots of I'll do it for like 700 an hour. Bro. No, but I do it for like 700 an hour, but I wouldn't do it for like 300.
There you go. He's named his price, people.
Well, if it's like I can make more than like 500 an hour on sites, in it. So like, you've got to pay me more than that.
I'll do it for $1,000 a minute.
I'll do it for 700 an hour.
700.
And no one's paying that. You
dollars or pounds?
Dollars, but you can get more talented people for way less. You shouldn't pay that. Like I'd rather price myself out so I don't have to do it. But
pay the money. He's worth it, people.
What were we talking about? Before I decided that I'm a consultant.
Before you start pimping yourself out for £700
Oh man.
No, you were talking about recovering content websites.
Yeah.
All of
So
that sexy stuff.
So a lot of, I didn't do audits, right? And I see a lot. By the way, this isn't me trying to be like condescending, because I see a lot of those things present on my sites, and they're the things that we're trying to remember. These things are clearly classifiers, and people like Eric Lancheras from On Page AI have dissected about some of the things that it might be. Literally, like WordPress plus content equals some more scrutiny. But whereas like e-commerce and whatever have enough non-content pages to get away with it. Don't know if that's true, but it's a very interesting theory. If it's a classifier signal-based system that's been trained to identify low quality content, then what can you try to do to get away from that? It's like not appear like this stuff. Some people are moving over to Shopify. Some people are just like ditching like the what's the income school theme? like you can just tell a mile away. Like there's, but it's not as basic as that, right? It's not just like, is it Abacabado, whatever it's called. Like, it's not like, it's more advanced than that. You can tell in sentiments how confident someone is writing about something. Number one, you can tell ambiguity versus precision, and precision is difficult to do because you have to be an expert to take a really expert, precise view on something. The sentiment analysis, I think, is a huge thing people aren't talking about, and so I see a lot of this stuff in like some like I saw an FAQ that was like, what ingredients are not in X, and it was like a best moisturizers article, and it was an FAQ that just said, what should you avoid? Ingredients should you avoid, like, because they might like mess up your skin or whatever. And the answer to the FAQ was, ingredients you should avoid include X, Y, Z, and A. And that's fine. Semantic stuff would tell you that's the answer, and it is the answer. And if you are a DR85 site, that's probably the best thing you can do. You matched it. Now you have the people also asked, whatever they are nowadays. You've answered the question with the highest certainty, because they had to do the least dependency hops based on their algorithm to understand that question is answered by that answer. Now we can safely show this as a feature snippet with the least risk, and that's how these algorithms work. However, if you are a low DR site, that looks like you've done some low quality AI stuff that isn't like has no character, does not build rapport, does not build user metrics. And there's so many better ways of framing that to look like a passionate creator versus an SEO. And a lot of these sites, even the internal links in the supporting content, and by the way, I'm victim of this. I do this so much. They're like 80% of the anchors, I'm trying to undo these a lot now whilst I audit my sites, are like near or exact match anchors for like the affiliate keyword I'm going. Not external backlinks, but internal links. And there's a lot of people. Grindstone talks about it recently, where he believes that since 2022, at the end of that year, or 2023, I can't remember. I think it's 23, not 22. So a couple of months ago, they really ratcheted up the tension on over optimization for internal links, which I can believe because I do that a lot, and I got smacked around in December.
And so talks about that as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, and so I think that the on-page over-optimization is being cracked down on more. H2s as well, but it's always been a thing more. Because they're easy to find a content site from. And I don't think this is like, some people are saying, oh, it's only content sites that are doing this. No, I do think there's a classifier and ecom or whatever that are doing this and getting away with it. But if you do fall under content site, these are the kinds of things that I'm seeing on SEO focused sites rather than like big brands that are easy and very cheap for an algorithm to find. Sentiment analysis, expert or not. Information gain is another thing that they're using. And then if you don't bring anything new to the table, then are you an expert? Ambiguity versus precise like stuff. And like how exact match your like internal links like for classes and stuff. Like there's a pattern called reasonable surfer pattern, wherein the value of a link, external or internal, is based not on like not as focused on as the traditional things you think about, how like the anchor text, although that is important. Grindstone even says that you should only use one form of exact match anchor text internal link, and it should be on the page itself, because that is the most relevant page to that. Which is like, I don't think that works on like brand sites, but I think it can work on parasites. I haven't questioned further, but it's an interesting idea. All of those things look SEO'd rather than brand. Now, that's just one thing. That's some of the things that I'm working on the content side. I'm trying to write less like I'm trying to write for a semantic algorithm, and more like I'm a excited fan that's just excited to have tested these products. By the way, I'm not even going to go like, this is all hypotheticals. This doesn't matter like 99% of the time. Like, I was auditing another site that is unbelievably good today. It's in the Netherlands niche. It's like it's in the Netherlands, right? And so I was used to seeing like spam get away. To be fair, it does. This is they've done a video at the top. They've tested all 5 air fryers. They're on like page 2. Number 1 is a 75 DR general site with 0 reviews, like your typical koala Amazon page, which is fine, like be a koala, but like should it be number 1 over the thing that tests all of them, has videos of all of them, unbelievably good UX and everything else. And number 2 is an exact match, like bestairfryer.nl, like page that's just ranking from an exact match domain, like it's 2007.
We got a problem right now, man.
So I'm when I talk about all of this, I'm talking about stuff that might not work, but this is the kinds of things that I'm working on for content that make separate a lower value niche site that deserves to get hit in Google's eyes to zero. I'm not saying it should, but that's what they're going after right now, and that's how you have to adapt. Versus a niche site that can like only get a 15% haircut, because I think that's the best you can hope for right now.
Mate, like what you're just saying there, so kind of cements the fact, like Google, the SERPs right now on Google, for many search terms, not all, for many search terms right now, are absolutely horseshit.
And like, I do think they'll roll some back. I do think they'll roll some back.
I think it's coming. I think it's coming relatively soon. Partial rollback, because they kind of have to, because it's just, it takes me forever to find the answer that I want to get.
Yeah.
And this is my whole TikTok play with SEO. If I go onto TikTok and search what I want for that answer, I get the fucking answer, and I get someone showing me how to do it in a video, and it took me 60 seconds and I can do the thing right now. Whereas if I go to Google, I might get a 600-word koala based article, maybe 1,600 word, maybe even 3,600 word based article, and the answer's right at the fucking bottom. It's taking me forever. I only have 15 minutes. So that's why, for me, right now, we've got an issue with the internet. And
on one of my sites, and you know this one that I'm talking about, I've tested every single product on the page at the cost of over $10,000 retail value of those products, right? And I think we're currently in like 20th position. And
that's nuts, man. That's just nuts.
And all the other stuff is literal, like the trend that I'm seeing a lot of right now is manufacturers so if you're trying to rank for best toothbrushes, the toothbrush manufacturer would rank themselves
Yahoo
top.
Finance fucking ranking for best toothbrush.
Is that what it is now? I haven't even seen. I was just like, do you know what I mean? Or like manufacturers or e-commerce that are, the intent is not comparison, it's just like one product page, like an e-commerce page that's ranking, which people aren't looking for. What I'm also seeing, because it matches singular but not plural, I typed in best toothbrushes, not best toothbrush. So why are you showing me a single toothbrush? Because I'm looking to compare. There's literally like, it doesn't cost billions of dollars to understand that level of semantics. It's pretty basic stuff. What we're seeing a lot of, and I think this will get rolled back, so I'm not necessarily like as worried about this, though it's frustrating, is that we're seeing a lot of general intent answering things for long tail queries. And so the actual specific intent answering articles getting pushed way down for like big brands doing generic intent that does rank for every single long tail intent. When like for some people, like if Google works out that one intent is part of the main intent, then fine. Like for example, if you write an article for best vacuums for the money, you would be fair to rank a best vacuums article rather than a specific best vacuums for the money, because they are the same thing. And so to write one targeting the best vacuums for the money keyword is a bit SEO'd, because it's not a separate segment, it's not separate. But if you were doing best for starting a small business doing cleaning, I think you'd want to see some different stuff because that is a different intent with a different set of products.
And
I
you
can
don't want to see
understand.
Yahoo Finance fucking ranking for that, do you?
Well, I also just don't want to see best vacuums. I want to see best vacuums, heavy duty, industrial ones for starting a small business. I want to see higher price ranges. And they're sowing generic intent for those types of ones, which is wrong. And they're pushing specific ones from smaller brands down when people want the specifics there. So that's another thing they've got to fix. Anyways, to get off that topic, I think we'll see some rollback because I think that this is as a consumer, not as a producer. Yeah, as a consumer, it's worse. But that's only part of what I'm doing right now. I'm still improving content. I'm still doing all the things that aren't showing any difference right now, like showing more of the reviews and de-optimizing certain things, improving content, removing bad content, all that good stuff. But in the last month, we focused on Reddit and Pinterest a lot more.
How's your Discover stuff going? Because I see you tweet about that a little bit.
Yeah, we blew up on one site, not one of the main sites, and not one of the ones that like I'm not too bothered. Like, it's nice to get the money, but it's mostly it was cool because I could tweet about it rather like, and I got to make a few grand, not because like that site like if it makes money, cool. But I'm not trying to like these other ones. I'm trying to recover more so they get more of my time. Like that's just fine and like trundling along. Like so it doesn't occupy a lot of mental space. When it blows up in Discover, great, but it's like whatever. But what we managed to do with Reddit is I think that people find this interesting. Jason does a course on most of this, so pay for Jason's course if you want to know more. But you can basically just buy a bunch of static residential proxies, run them through something like AdsPower or anything else. Buy a bunch of aged Reddit accounts. We have like 12 now. And then just post, go on Ahrefs, find the highest traffic keywords in your niche that Reddit has and ranks for, comment with something that leads back to your article. Don't do a direct affiliate link because you'll get found out and banned from Amazon. Like you'll just get banned straight. Don't be an idiot. Send it to and you get traffic going to your thing, which is a good positive sign as well, to your article. And then buy upvotes and get top comment. And people make the mistake because they just have 1 or 2 or 3 accounts and they just directly go on all the biggest threads and comment, and they get caught and they get banned and removed, or the moderators flag them, or someone flags the moderators, or someone else who's an affiliate marketer snitches on you. The play is to have like a bunch of accounts all on different proxies, then get like a few of the top comments across your niche each. So let's say there's 30 big comments. And at the moment, we have about 30 of the top comments on one niche, and that's driving about 150 clicks a day. And so that's
wow. Okay.
And it's 2 affiliate posts now. Yeah, that's just on one site. We've got other sites that are driving traffic as well. And so that's guaranteed base traffic, almost like SEO, until they nerf Reddit, which I think will happen. They won't kill Reddit off, but they will knock it by a half or a third.
It's worthwhile, isn't it?
They convert well because they're going their affiliate keywords. I'm not going after informational. So if you've got 12, 13 accounts, yeah, it costs $100 a month to run it, but you can make $5,000 a month off the comments that you do from there, easy. But there's time in that because you have to in SEO, when you get your first like foundational links, so you can get away with more aggressive link building, you get the foundational, the pillow links, right? You have to do like pillow posts and comments in between your self-promotion stuff. So it's not just random throwaway account replied 20 upthegains.co.uk links in a row, and then start to go, maybe this is a sock puppet account, right? Maybe we should get on this. So you have to go and we have the SOP is the VAs go in, they answer specific comments based on custom GPTs that answer different types of queries in each niche. And it's 5 replies, like post comments, like to just make it so that if a mod scrolled through our post history, it wouldn't be obviously upthegains.co.uk every single time. Then after 5 pillow comments, there's 1 pillow post in one of our related niches, so that we just go on Google News, find an article that's trending, that's as controversial as possible, type in the title with a controversial title, and then if it gets upvotes, then like whatever, great, we'll take the karma. But it's really just to like look like a legit member of the community. Then another 5 pillow comments, so 11 total, 10 comments, 1 post, and then one of our we'll stick 2 or 3 of our self-promotional ones in a row, bunch them all together, then the VA warms them up again. And so we have about an 11 to 3
how much
ratio.
are you buying upvotes for then when you say buy upvotes?
I'll tell you off camera.
All right, cool. Well, yeah, no, fair enough.
It's very cheap,
it sounds
and it works.
really interesting. It does. It just, for me, it's like, fucking hell, it sounds so bloody time consuming.
Well, the VAs can do it now. It takes about an hour to warm an account with that and we were going quite conservative there to do 11.
So because you said that quite fast, so I just want to backtrack that and just break that down a little bit, because so you use the account to warm it up. You basically pretend that you're real by doing a lot of comments within the space and using custom GPTs to essentially answer the questions which are being asked in that Reddit thread.
Yeah.
And then once you've warmed up the account, once you've got a few upvotes here and there on some of your comments, you then bang it with your affiliate post articles to a relevant thread.
So
upvote it by buying the upvotes, and then you're getting the traffic from that.
Yeah, so we're not posting new articles. We're not. I'm going to build that in where we just post our articles. Like, let's say that I made a post about architecture and I post it in r/architecture to try and get a quick boost of like 10,000 views or whatever. I'm not even doing that yet. It's literally just for the trickle of people that are coming from like typing in best architecture designers, going onto the Reddit one, seeing that I'm top comment, and then clicking to my post from that. So it's like Parasite, it's the same sort of thing.
Fucking
it takes
nuts,
about
isn't it?
No, so for when I was doing it per
so
account,
Reddit's
it was
just fucking games now as well. It's just
that's the thing. Like, at least with content sites, you had to do 2 hours of buying links and doing content. Like, so like I know it wasn't great quality, but at least you had to like stick around and do the job for it. Now I can just buy an aged Reddit account and get top comment on a Parasite post for like $3 of upvotes and $35 for an aged Reddit account in 5 minutes. But so when I was doing it manually, it takes about an hour to do 10 pillow comments on one post, because you have to think about it. And you can do GPTs, for example. If you're doing a dog site and you want to get best dog food and you want to warm it up to do that, and you go and hang out in r/dog for a while, we have 3 ways of answering questions. One is like a platitude. So someone posts they post a picture of their dog or a project they've made in architecture. We'll go, that's so awesome. Easiest ones to do. No, you don't need to know anything other niches. And then you say something like a little question like, oh, nice. How long did that take to build? Or like, how old is she for the dog or whatever? Get a reply and an upvote because they want to talk about their dogs and their projects all day. Boom. Looks legit. Got away with it. Didn't get discovered for being a fraud. Out. But people don't realize that with Vision now on GPT, if someone posts a picture of their sick looking dog, I can screenshot that, stick it in GPT and go, what's wrong with the dog? Answer the question. And it will get it right most of the time. So I can give good answers because they haven't realized that they can do this yet. And otherwise they wouldn't post on Reddit. They'd just go on GPT and ask what was wrong with their dog. You can actually like give advice from the screenshots of Reddit problems and
Jamie's
look
now
helpful.
a vet, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, GPT is, right? So people don't realize that Vision is really good.
It's pretty amazing. Like, I wonder what finance is like in there. I bet it's cutthroat.
Maybe I'll check and see if we can land you some top comments later on.
Yeah, mate. If you can, let me know. I'm in. If it's an hour, a few hundred.
No. So it's not now anymore because the VAs do it for us now, which made it so much better. Because I was getting really jaded with having to do 4 main accounts and like other warming accounts. It was like taking half a day to get those like 15 odd daily affiliate comments in, and I was like, it's starting to become like not that profitable, and I'm doing it just so the traffic looks good. Like if I was to sell the sites, for example, rather than because it makes lots of money, which is counterproductive and like not like in service of like the actual growth of the brand's long.
Yeah, but I mean, imagine if you could get some traffic through to best budgeting apps, for example.
Yeah, and that's the kind of stuff we're sending traffic to now, and it is profitable. Like it's helping after the Google traffic hits. But now we've got the VAs to do it. It's so much nicer. I just what I do is I spend like a couple of hours each week just going through. Like we've already got a spreadsheet of all the top ranking comments that we want to take. I just get you take all the URLs, load them up, and just write a draft in a Google Doc for the whole week with the CTA that goes to our article. Pre-write all of them, and then whenever they're warmed up, I can just stick them in straight, upvote them, done. I'm out in like a few minutes, and then they can get back to warming. They can even paste them in, to be honest, but like I just know the format, and I like to know. And I they don't have access to the upvoting on Reddit, to be fair, so only I can do that, and so I may as well upvote them when I post.
Sick.
Yeah.
All right, we'll talk about that, man. That's interesting. Well, we've had a really good run today. I think we've covered a lot of ground. We covered Instagram, TikTok, digital products. We've covered now Reddit and what Jamie's doing with his content. There's some amazing stuff in there. We'll leave links to Jason's course, to my Couch to $5,000 course. Fucking buy that, people. If you're listening to Click Wars and you want to make money from digital products, buy that shit. It's 47 quid at the moment, by the way. So, you know,
47 to start with. Then you're in the funnel and there's no escape in that one. It's like quicksand.
There is a premium community on there, but that's if you want access to me. But you don't have to do that. Everything's in the course. 47 quid will change your life. So buy that shit, man. Also Jason's course, and then we'll leave some links as well to the Reddit stuff as well. We'll leave that there. Jason will like us for that. And hopefully he'll stop interviewing people and trying to take us on with Click Wars. Joke. All right. Well, mate, I've enjoyed this one. Anything you want to add?
No. I'll save Pinterest for next week because I think we've run over time already.
Yeah, let's save it. I've got a bit more I want to talk about on a few bits as well. So let's do emails and Pinterest next. We can do an update on that, and then hopefully by the time we do another episode next month, I have basically taken over Instagram and I've got everyone. We've got 3.6 billion followers, and yeah, I'll be talking to you from a beach in Barbados.
There we go. It's
right,
we didn't even do Discover, to be fair. I got 600 new newsletter subscribers to my newsletter from one Discover tweet.
Mate, you're lining up topics. Let's do it next time.
All right, we'll do Discover next time. All
right, guys. Much love. We'll catch you soon.
See you later. Bye.